Ever since I was 10 years old, the most important thing on my mind was how to make money, how to make more money, and how to stop being broke. As you guys might know, I uploaded multiple YouTube videos every single week since I was 10 years old, and I've actually tried many online businesses, like selling in-game items for real-world money, and that's actually the reason I got into crypto so early, as what I was using at the time was a friend of mine's PayPal to accept all these payments for example, my Minecraft server. But at a certain point we had a sort of argument, and so I had to look for my own way to accept payments, and that's basically how I got to crypto. And so when I look back, a lot of the success that I have right now stems off from the steps that I took about 13 years ago. And it's funny, even if you look back at this main YouTube channel, my crypto one that is, you'll see hacking videos from back in 2011, some of which had 30,000, 20,000 views. They didn't have my voice on there, it didn't have my face in there. It just made me think about how it all started and how I began with this journey, and that right now, what I mostly focus on YouTube and talk about with the people I meet is how to invest money that you've already gathered. And mostly it's when you're investing in these newer companies, you need tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars. And I understand as well that that's not attainable for most people watching. And so in this video, I'm gonna give you guys some basic tips on what I think is best to start off with to make your first $100 a day or $1,000 a month or so, as realistically speaking, that's what the majority of people watching are looking for, that basic income to start being able to do more things. Because it's that hierarchy of things, right, where you can't really look into investing a lot of money if you really haven't set yourself up to be able to eat tonight. And so forth and so on, you gotta look after the most important things first. And very often, if you've clicked on this video and are watching these steps, you're not at the top of the pyramid yet at the self-actualization stage. I think the majority of people watching right now have enough time to do something, have enough time to make some extra money because you have a 30 minutes here or 20 minutes there. It's just that you don't know where to spend it at that's really going to make a difference. And that's where the most crucial step of all lies, and that is learning something that can make that difference. In other words, it's acquiring a new skill. Right now, as I said, I described my journey to show you how I went from 10-year-old talking about hacking in Pokemon, talking about Minecraft every single day, to now talking with some of the biggest investors in the world, trying to invest in newer companies or trying to acquire new capital for different companies, etc. You learn this throughout just reading, meeting people, etc. And it's not like I knew all this day one, right? It takes a lot of time, but I think if you want it, you'll get there. It's just a question of knowing where to look and knowing which direction to point yourself at. Anyway, right now I'm actually teaching a couple younger kids, about 14 years old, what to do to get started in this online realm, online business realm. And there's actually a couple 40 or so year old parents there watching as I kind of teach them about making money online. And it's funny that even they are pretty interested in whatever I teach them. Mostly it's about some new online skill that's pretty easy to grasp the moment you have a laptop. And that could be, for example, editing. That could be some sort of writing. And you might think, oh, a 13-year-old writing your scripts? It's honestly not that difficult. And then there's, for example, email organization. And the reason I'm so adamant about those is because this editing, all it takes is a couple different YouTube videos and a little bit of skills with the computer to understand how to do every single step. In regards to copywriting, right now we've got AI that does most of the work. You've got Grammarly, which is also AI, that can make sure your grammar is all perfect. All you need is a little bit of skill to understand what type of story sounds good. But again, after watching multiple YouTube videos on the matter, you'll be pretty good at it. And then with regards to this email assistant, most of my friends that don't have a full-time assistant, they've got some sort of email person that goes through every single email that comes in, responds within minutes if it's not a very crucial, only to you type of email. And that's just to make sure you're on top of your email inbox. The salary with all of these can very much depend on how many clients you've got, but I'd say for a email person, it's a couple hundred, like $600 a month or so. As an editor, it again depends on how good you're with it and what type of time you want to invest into it as well. You can charge anywhere from $5 to $25 per short video, which is like 30 seconds long, or sometimes $100, $250 for a longer 10-minute video, for example. And the copywriting one completely depends on your field of expertise. Make sure you know a little bit about what you're trying to write about. If you're trying to write about crypto, for example, it's not sufficient to only be good with AI to make sure you've come up with everything, because you need to understand if what you've written is good. But that will also dictate how much money you're going to make from all this. Again, the more lucrative the industry, the more money you'll make with it. If all you're writing about is, did you know there's a guy on earth that has 6 toes, or something like that, it's not going to be as lucrative as, here's how to make money, for example, as a title, as a concept. It's quite logical with it. If the person receiving the script can make more money with it, you're also going to earn more. And a script could be anywhere from just $10 to a couple $1,000, depending on how long it is, depending on what it is for, and depending on exactly what you've done with it. I know some 17-year-old kid that writes out scripts every single day, pretty elaborate ones as well, and he gets, I think, $800 per script, but that's because he knows what he's doing and he makes sure that every single detail, every single pause is in that script. And how do you find your clients for all this? Well, guys, I get an email every single day, and I'd say about 5 DMs on Instagram, 5 DMs on TikTok, 10 DMs on Twitter probably, of people trying to edit my content or people trying to provide a thumbnail for my YouTube videos. And so even though I've already got a guy, I'd still say it's worth trying to reach out to every single famous, every single business, every single, just anybody out there that seems like they might need your services. Because even though 150 people will say no, there might be one guy that says yes, and boom, you've got your first client. And in theory, you could actually do this whole reaching out before you've actually got the skills. The only problem is they'll often ask for samples, but at that point, after they've asked for samples, you gotta, I guess, really step up your game to learn the skill. Because at that point, it might mean if you're good enough and you're cheap enough, they'll take you. And at that point, once you start working, you've got yourself an endless amount of samples, and acquiring new clients will get easier and easier from there, up to a point where you have to hire new editors, for example, to make the content for you, as you probably can't keep up with all your work anymore. I'd say creating content is one of the best things out there. And this could be a couple of different ways. You could go ahead and reclip or just cut up some of these very famous podcasts, like the one from Joe Rogan, and like some motivational speakers out there, maybe a Jordan Peterson, whatever, because it actually does pretty well for building these motivational brands, motivational pages. And you can either try affiliate market on those, which means that you go to the comment section or go to the description, put some sort of link there, and if people press it, you actually might earn a little commission. Or you could build them for other people, as again, people buy these pages as they have some sort of idea as to what they can do with the audience that you've gathered. Or you can start out with this sort of motivational content from these miscellaneous people on the internet to then switch it over to your own content after you've already acquired an audience. And even though from these videos make absolutely $0, there's no ads, there's no course, there's no nothing. Let's say, hypothetically speaking, that 1,000 people watch this video, and I had a course linked down below. Don't you guys think as well that if I had a course about making money online, in a making money online type of video, then not 0.1% of the people watching would actually be interested? The point here is there are many people out there that have just started creating content this year. Again, I've been trying it for 13 years, but there's many people who started this year that already have over 1 million subscribers, raking in $100,000 or more every single month. And don't think this is just kids. Don't think this is just grown-ups. This is every single age group. There's kids making Minecraft videos that are doing extremely well. But there's also 30-year-old people just eating food or making some funny food reviews that have started this year that have a particular style that makes them do extremely well. There's also, however, the 50-year-old dad. There's one channel, I don't remember the name, he's extremely popular recently because he just shows you how to do your plumbing for your, I don't know what's called, sink or pipes. And with regards to creating content, I've actually let go quite a couple of shorts on this channel of many different websites on the internet that are very handy to use. A couple ones are Photopea, which is some sort of free Photoshop website. Another one is Canva, which again can act as some sort of free Photoshop or as a free editor type of place. And again, the YouTube space or the TikTok, Instagram, Facebook post in all these places if you're going to post something, by the way. It's very much exponential, meaning at the start, it'll most likely be quite slow in terms of growth, unless you're very lucky, which will happen to a couple of y'all watching if you all start today. But eventually, it'll go in some sort of crazy line where you're thinking all of a sudden, or rather realizing that all this wouldn't have happened if you didn't take action that specific day. And before I move over onto the next way to make money, that's the most important part of all this. It's to start as early as possible. If you're watching this video right now, the first thing I want you to do is at least do some sort of research into what your next step is going to be and just keep continuing on with that. The difference here being most people watch this video think, that's a good idea. Yeah, I should look into making more money. And they stall watching another YouTube video for a month or so. I've also had many people say, oh, really, I wish I could make money online. I wish I could make more money, but I just don't have the time. And I've said this time and time and time again. There's almost nobody out there. There are people, but there's not really that many people out there that have an internet connection, have a phone, have every single second in the world to watch this video, but they don't have enough time to take some sort of action. And I'm not saying, go for -1 minute sleep. Make sure you sleep less, because I think sleep is extremely important. All I'm saying is the people that want it the hardest will get it. It's almost never happened in the history of the world that somebody who really wanted everything out there and backed it up with all the proper action still remained flat broke. Even if I look at my own family here, there's been a lot of people that wanted to be richer and they never got there because they never followed it up with the proper action. But there have also been people who are looking for a better life. And even though they might have not gotten everything they were craving for, they might have not become multi-millionaires, they got to their better life because they followed all their thoughts up with the proper action. And so my message to you here is, make sure if you have this idea of I want something to change, to actually back it up with the proper action to make sure that this change can actually happen. And like I stated earlier in the video, I've tried many of these things myself. Here's, for example, shoes that I used to resell, right? I've sold many shoes in my life, and these are worth, I think, maybe $1,500 or so. I think these are also worth a little bit. I think I bought them for $170, $190 or so, and I think they're worth about $2,000 right now. I actually have some friends that do shoe reselling for a living. Even though back in time, I used to only go for Yeezys and these Air Force Ones, which are the harder ones to get but have a very, very big profit margin. The guy I know, he goes for almost any single shoe he can make $10 or $20 on. Again, doing a lot of due diligence and then buying a ton of pairs. He also has addresses in almost every single country to make sure he can get the best price with the best quantity, all that stuff. But again, he started out with just one single pair of shoes, and it's a very big learning curve, but you can get into it if you want to. Another one thing I've done is edit videos for people. Again, the reason I have so many cameras and so many camera tools, and the reason I have like 15 iPhones, is because I tried many businesses, guys. What I used to do is I go to concerts. Not the big ones, but very, very small ones. If you go a little bit early and you're smart with it, you can sometimes talk to this independent artist that's, again, smaller. You could get about $50, for example, to film a overview of their entire concert. I'd say the return on that was about $20 an hour or so, as it might cost you 30 minutes or 40 minutes to film, and then about 2 hours or so to edit it properly. I also have done a couple of different music videos, and here in Dubai, what a lot of people do is two different things. Either they film for real estate companies, which is incredibly lucrative, or they actually film for people that go to events, and this could be another easy couple $100 a month, as it's pretty hard to find consistent jobs in this, unless you've already proven yourself, obviously. And with all these phones, by the way, what I used to do, and what I still have some documentation on the internet, is I had a very huge social media network. It's still out there, but most of it is dead right now. But if you go to YouTube and type in Growth Masters Academy, you'll see a couple of videos from me from a couple years ago where I explain to people how to grow these theme pages over on Instagram and actually also on TikTok. That was a little bit, however, and before TikTok really took over, and the tactics were different at that point. Right now, it doesn't work as well. But yeah, I've also tried that. And in turn, I've also tried dropshipping. Did it work? It generated money, sure. But what you learn as you get more and more into these higher echelons, higher circles of money, is that dropshipping successfully is only done by quite a select few, I should say. The majority of people out there, they have something to sell you, either a coaching, mentorship course, whatever, because it's a very saturated market. Can you make money with it? Yes. Will you watching this right now make money with it? Only if you really, really want to. If you really are smart with it, you'll probably fail a couple times, probably lose a couple $1,000s, and then maybe somewhere along the journey you'll find a crazy amount of success as you have a working product. And a good example was the Corona craze, where some people that were early and quick with it, yeah, they made tons of freaking money. But the opposite being, for every person that succeeds, probably 450 will fail. And you gotta understand as well, you're competing with some of the biggest guys out there, right? Let's say, for example, we take a case from a phone, for example. Only if you're very lucky, you'll be the only person selling it. So then at that point, you're competing against somebody who might have done it for years, trying to sell that exact same phone case. And again, it can work, but it's a lot harder than many people make it seem. What I've noticed though is the most successful guys in the dropshipping game, they don't really have unique things, but if I were to think about what would really work if you're completely starting out, is more theme, more niche, things you're really good at. For example, some sort of stores from Pokemon or Yu-Gi-Oh cards, that's something I think that would work a lot better. It might be your passion, and I think you really know your market at that point. So a lot of tweaking the settings can be easier as you know it through and through. It's a lot easier to sell something that you know everything about than trying to find your way into learning a specific product that you don't resonate with. On the contrary, what I used to sell was just the thing that I knew that people that were in my audience on all these pages would want. Let's say, for example, that you have pages or an audience that's really into crafting stuff, so into kitchenware, into cooking, all that stuff. Well, you're gonna sell some sort of kitchen supplement, like some cool knives or things of that sort. And this is actually a really big turning point for me. The moment I started selling things was when a famous celebrity, which I thought at that point, a guy I used to always watch on TV, texted me on this Instagram page asking me where he could buy a knife that was shown in some random video. I didn't know what type of knife it was. But yeah, I went and found a knife that was similar and started selling that. Anyway, here's a couple other things you could do without much explanation. You could start running ads for people. I've done that before. You can help people run their OnlyFans. I've done that before. You can start writing scripts. I've not done that for other people, only for myself. Once you have some sort of audience, you can sell online courses or sell private tutoring, private mentorship, private coaching. And this could be with a fitness audience, motivation audience, any sort of audience. All you need is to get either into YouTubing, onto Twittering, into making short form videos from either your own content or other people's content. It's literally as easy as it sounds. You can become a private assistant, or a virtual assistant, I should say. As I said earlier in the video, most of the friends that I have that don't have an in-house assistant have some sort of virtual assistant. Mostly I think from Ukraine or something. I think it's like $600 to $1,000 a month. And they, as I said, go through your emails. They might schedule your appointments. Let's say you want to go to a restaurant. They might call them up for you. They might do your research. Let's say you say, hey, where exactly can I get that? They'll do the research for you. Hey, can you please reach out to this and this guy via email? They'll do that for you, all that stuff. If you have an interesting backstory, you could start a podcast. And honestly, I think the best way to make money in 2023 is going to be everything content related. And there's a little bit of a curve where at the start, you're not going to make money. And so you have to invest time and potentially some equipment. So it's not the best thing to start with $0 unless you want to sell stuff from the get-go. Let's build something that creates an audience that you can sell to forever, because you only have to create one podcast, which takes, let's say, an hour or so a week. You can divide that up into multiple clips, which are a couple minutes long. And let's say you create the podcast on Monday. You create clips for Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Then put some shorts in for the other 2 or 3, whatever days. And you just create some shorts throughout the week. All it will take is time. And you can, in theory, just have a podcast with yourself, which is a story, I know. But if you angle the camera correctly, right? Or your phone for that matter, as most videos I've ever shot have been shot on phone, you can create an entire podcast on your own. And I think most people here would be surprised to know just how quick that could grow. By the way, guys, I'm documenting a lot of this social journey for you guys behind the scenes. And I'm actually thinking of doing multiple videos where I also show you guys that I'm starting a new side hustle or starting a new business from scratch and teaching you guys or showing you guys exactly how much money it makes throughout. But understand, I'm already doing that right now as we speak. I started this social media brand, The Business Realm or Dusty Finance, I believe on, let's just say for simplicity, the 1st of January 2023. And I think it will have over 100,000 followers within another 3 months from now. Because I think right now we're at maybe 20,000 followers or so. And I know for a fact that it could have easily made a couple $1,000s within these 3 months already. I chose to not do that because as of this point here, I really don't see the value in selling anything. I don't really have anything to sell you. The only thing I could think of is a course, but I'd rather just give all the information to you guys right now for absolutely free. because I genuinely hope that some of you guys watching this out there are going to be inspired by my words and take some action. And like I've had throughout the last year, is I've been in Dubai going to a lot of these meetings, and I see some people that look me in my eye, shake my hand, and thank me for whatever I've taught them. And that for me does a lot more than a couple $1,000s. So again, the $10,000 in shoes, the 10 different phones, or the tens of thousands of dollars in watches is not to be a flexer. In no way, shape, or form do I seek validation here, seek your praise, or feel good about showing people that I'm rich. Nah, from the bottom up, all I'm trying to do here is show you I was a 10-year-old ignorant kid, not knowing anything about business, nobody really taught me. People ask me very often, how do you get the American accent? Because again, born in Netherlands, a lot of what I did is just watch people, watch YouTube videos, be eager to learn, and like visualize exactly what you want. And I think by me telling my story, explaining a little bit more about the fact that it's really possible to go from just $0 to tens of thousands of dollars, or sometimes hundreds of thousands of dollars every month, every week, every day, by setting yourself up correctly. Trust me when I say it's not as impossible as it seems if you're willing to work hard for it. And so yeah, as an end note, I'll say, guys, make sure you press that like button if you enjoyed the video. And let me know down below if you'd like to see some sort of video where I explain A to Z process of starting a online business. For example, how to start a online store, how to start a dropshipping business, whatever. How to start a YouTube or content creation platform, how to create one of these theme pages in the motivation niche like I said to you guys earlier, or show you guys how I made millions of followers over on Instagram, of which I already have a couple tutorials, but just let me know down below what you'd like to see more of, or more crypto tutorials where I make most of my money. Just let me know down below, and hopefully I'll see you guys again in another video next week.